In the last section of material, we talked about how the real number system is set up. In this section, we're going to talk about the properties, so the rules that allow us to be able to use numbers, and basically what all of our operations are built on. So you should already be familiar with most of these, but maybe you didn't necessarily know that it had a specific name or a specific purpose. So we're going to go back over these. The first of these properties is called the commutative property, and we have one for addition and one for multiplication. Commutative, if you think about the word commute, whenever you commute to work, you go back and forth, right? You exchange positions. Well, you can think about that if you want to help you remember that the commutative property is where the items actually change places. We can add A plus B, which would be the exact same thing as adding B plus A. Now, these are just representing some number. So if I wanted to look at them as a number, then it would be saying, well, 2 plus 3 is the exact same thing as 3 plus 2. And that's a true statement, right? We can add in any order we want to. Same thing goes for multiplication. A times B is the same thing as B times A. So looking at it in number form, we know that 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 times 2. So the commutative property is where you actually switch the order of what you're adding or multiplying. So now let's look at an example. It says use the commutative property to complete each statement. So we have x plus 16. Now if we're going to use the commutative property, that means that our items are going to actually switch places. So instead of doing x plus 16, we could say 16 plus x. And because we're adding, we can add in any order we want to, and we get the exact same thing. Now the next one says negative 2 times x. We also have the commutative property for multiplication that says we can multiply in any order we want to. So we could rearrange the order and say some number times negative 2 would be the exact same thing. Our next properties are called the associative properties. And here again, it is talking about being able to add or multiply in any order. But I want you to notice the difference here. First of all, we're doing more than one thing. But the most important part of this is, if you'll notice in the addition associative property, we have A plus B plus C. If we add A and B first and then add C to it, we get the exact same thing as if we had added B plus C first and then added A. It's using order of operations to your advantage. So if I were to say 2 plus 3, well, that would be 5, and then add 4, we would get 9, right? Is that the exact same thing as if I did 3 plus 4 is 7 plus 2? That would still be 9, so that's the exact same thing. But notice that our order does not change. We are just simply reassociating our items. For the multiplication property, it's going to be the same thing. We can see our order did not change here, but we are reassociating our items. If I were to multiply 2 times 3, we get 6, and then times 4 would be 24. Now, is that the same thing as if I did 3 times 4 first, which is 12, and then multiplied times 2? Yep, still 24. So looking at our examples here, it says use an associative property to complete each statement. Well, the most important thing is that in the associative property, they do not change order. They simply reassociate. So rather than do the R and the S first, which is what we originally were told to do, we can reassociate those items and add the 6 plus the R first. In the next example, we've got 4 times A times B. But because multiplication is associative, we could also rewrite that and instead do the 4 times A first, then multiplied to B, and we would get the exact same thing.